Remember how I had made my beautiful Walstad tank? Nothing was going wrong, and I was supposed to put shrimp in there. Yeah, I kind of screwed up. Hi, my name is Shelly's Fishy Info here with practical tips on nano aquariums and fish tanks. I'm no pro at Walstad tanks. I've set up 2 before. My first one was a 1-gallon shrimp jar. It had compost, and I didn't know that compost was not great for Walstad tanks back then, so don't blame me. And then I used sand, white sand. I used my Alternanthera reinecki, which actually grew really well in that place, and my Hygrofolia polysperma, my Nubius banana plant, my Pisoli, and my compact Amazon. So it was going well for quite a few months, actually, like 6 months. I had added 6 cherry shrimp, and then everything was going well. The Salvinia was soaking up all those nutrients that we need to get out. But when I had added a few ghost shrimp, things went wrong, and I ended up having to tear everything down, and everything was lost. My second attempt at my Walstad tank was the one I uploaded on YouTube, and I had given the step-by-step to everything. I had followed all the instructions on internet websites, fish keepers. I used soil that was not so poisonous. I used a thick layer of sand to cap everything. I used a lot of fast-growing plants. Everything was going well for a few months, but things went a wrong turn. And how? A water change. You see, most fish keepers say after you're done cycling your tank, do a water change. I've actually never done that, and my fish have survived for months. And yeah, it would like that. But I wanted to advise follow for fish keeping, so I did do a water change. And while doing it, my water pump just could not handle it, and it spewed out all the water onto the sand walls, gravel vacuuming, and it just spoiled everything, and the soil just burst out. And I did 100% water change immediately. Added more sand and took everything out, replanted it, and took out. Thankfully, the tank was doing fine, but things didn't go so well after that. You see, the first thing I noticed was wrong was when I found a copepod in the tank. Now, I know copepods are not dangerous, but I've never had any copepods in my tank, so something was wrong. Now, I wanted to get more floating plants. Yes, floating plants are a great thing. So I did not think of this, but I wanted some water lettuce, but someone suggested getting, I don't know who it was, but someone suggested getting water hyacinth. So I got it from a seller that has koi fish, but his pond was absolutely disgusting. I asked him to stop giving me, but he just gave it to me. I think he just wanted to get rid of all of his water hyacinth. So yeah, I got some, but they were full of mites, pests, mosquito larvae. I had to wash them a lot of times. My water lettuce, on the other hand, I got them from a good seller. She keeps her fish tank clean. It's a lovely pond with goldfish. And there's a bunch of water weeds and water hyacinth that is much healthier than the other water hyacinth I got from the koi seller. So yeah, when I got back, I thoroughly washed everything, make sure there was no mites, threw out the infected ones, and the water lettuce, they were doing actually really well. So I went go ahead and added 1 water hyacinth in my Walstad tank to make sure everything was okay, and added a little tiny water lettuce that was still growing. I had also added some water hyacinth and water lettuce to my large 20-gallon fish tank that I had first set up, and I had also added the water hyacinth and water lettuce to my red bucket breeder tank to make sure everything was okay and see if they had the same effects on my Walstad. Now, for my 20-gallon red bucket fish tank, no mites were in the tank and everything was doing fine. There were no infestations of copepods, nothing, which was a huge relief. But my Walstad tank was a different story. So when I had first looked again, I had seen, like, they were not springtails, they were like mites on my water hyacinth. So I immediately took that water hyacinth out, tried to take out as much mites as possible, did a water change to reduce the mites, and threw out the hyacinth. But like any other pest, they grew back for some reason, and I could just not stop it. There was a huge brown algae problem in the tank, and a cyanobacteria problem as well, which was just nuts. Some plants were not getting enough light because the floating plants were blocking everything. But the floating plants were doing most of the work, so I didn't want to take those out either. But the mites were the biggest problem. They just multiplied. They tried crawling out of the tank. I used a toothbrush, tried scraping off anything to try and get that population down. But it would just not go down. The tank was not doing well either. It was horribly smelly. The gas exchange was not working well either. So I made the hard decision to tear down my Walstad tank. The Monstera I had planted was just too large for the tank. It wasn't doing much effort in cleaning. It was blocking a lot of light, so I took that out too. In the end, I had saved most of it, but it smelled like sewage, and the soil was just full of organic mush material and deteriorating plants. I think the reason why my Walstad tank failed was because the organic soil. You see, these days they put in a lot of stuff in organic soil to help terrestrial plants grow, but when that goes into water, it does affect, and there's too many nutrients. It's just toxic, and it just does not suit. There is aquarium soils that do help, as you saw in my beta fish tank video. That did work out well, better. So I think I should stick to aqua soil next time. But I do think that I am not going to be using organic soil anytime soon, because as I did look on a post on Reddit, most soils have organic material like perlite, wood balls, anything that does not belong in a fish tank that can cause huge ammonia spikes. I think the reason why the mite infestation did not happen in my 20-gallon or my red bucket tank was because there was no organic material for them to feed on. I'm sure there were plants, but most of that was taking care of my snails and my shrimp. And the tank already had a lot of beneficial bacteria in it. They were soaking up all those good nutrients, and there was just nothing really good, and it wasn't warm enough for them to feed on. My red bucket tank was nice and cold, and then my 20-gallon was an average, and my Walstad tank was just fairly warm, and it was perfect for a breeding ground, and it was disgusting. So yeah, because the copepods did not survive in my 20-gallon, as I did investigate by adding 2 copepods in there. So yeah. What lessons have I learned? So I have learned that I'm not going to use organic soil anytime soon because it's just not for me. It's too toxic. Doesn't work well for me. It's personally not my thing. So yeah, I would suggest not using it for me because it's not my thing. So yeah, it's a very good experience. So and I like to save money, sure, but I would not want to. But if it talks about my fish's lives, so I would just go for the lives that are cheap. And another thing to consider was I'm not going to buy from a seller that has mites in their pond, which is not a good idea because it can infest your fish tanks. I hope this video helped you in why my Walstad tank has failed, and I did not post a part 2 of my my other Walstad tank. So keep keeping your fish tanks well, and I'll see you in the next video.